is affected by what I'm saying. And we must safeguard our mental health. We must protect it jealously. Because once your mental health is compromised, you cannot perform as a woman. You cannot perform as a teacher. You cannot perform as a mother. You cannot perform as a wife. And you cannot also perform vice versa as a husband, as a father, as a husband to another woman. You cannot perform. We must protect our mental health. And this drinking that you are finding people drinking, it's just coping. Nyumbani kuna shinda. And that is what the TSC director tells us, and we keep agitating this.
And I want to believe this is something that is actually agitating majority of the teachers in Kiambu. We have heard and seen the new list of the hospitals that have been accredited. As much as we welcome them, we are very happy with the new ones that have been brought on board. But we are dying to have the ones that have been removed brought back. I'm talking about, in particular, Medihill. Medihill. It is the only hospital that is at the level of what you can call Aga Khan and that is Aga Khan, Nairobi Hospital, Karen Hospital, and the like. Actually, when I quote Medihill, we are saying we have been getting the best of the medical care there. Most of these other hospitals, allow me, they are here, they came, Riyar, and the like. We are not bashing them. But most of them normally refer us to Medihill. All of you are aware of that. If there's an animal in the house that we would want completely removed from our line of duty, it's called breeze. Yes. And why we are talking about breeze going completely? We will tell you, Bwana SG, that is a milking cow. What do I mean by a milking cow? That you must pass a report to breeze. Once you report to breeze, they take part of your medical cover consultation. They don't treat you, they refer you elsewhere. What was the point of leaving that money there? Why didn't you go? Why can't they be allowed? Why can't you be allowed? If they cannot handle a problem, they tell you go straight there. But most of the time, if you go now to, I'm not privy to that information, Breeze is the one that is collecting the biggest chunk of your money. Yet it is not the one that is treating us. And that's why when you go to the hospital, the other major hospitals now, you are told you are not worth. That is the amount of money that can be used. Imekuliwa. Unauliza ilikuliwa wapi? Ukichunguza sana, if they can give you the breakdown, pesa yote iliwachwa wapi? Breeze. Breeze, which was just did a simple thing, consulted you and sent you elsewhere. Na wakabaki na pesa yako. If it is possible to eliminate that chain, we request the National Office to try and eradicate that. And at the same time, I want the teachers of Kiambu here, to tell the SG, we demand the reinstatement of Medihill. It's the only hospital that we know. Kikuyu teachers are present here. Kabete teachers are here. Kiamba teachers are here. There were not hospitals. Kikuyu in particular, we have gone for 3 good years. They are here. They are maybe in the forum was concerned of the huge crisis of alcohol abuse amongst our teachers. Chairman has actually tried to expound on that. It's a major problem that we are dealing with. Most of the cases that have been brought to my office, they are dealing with alcoholism, where you fail to go to work for a period of time. We are trying to circumvent by trying to look for ways. You are the one who is guilty. Allow me to say that. Because some of the cases, I will quote, I don't want to mention the name of the teacher, but my very able secretary tertiary, Bwana Israel, will confirm we had to hunt for a teacher in a club in Rari one time. Very early in the morning. The teacher was being interdicted. And now we had to beg with the sub-county director, please don't release that letter. Now you can imagine where we traced the teacher, he was already intoxicated. We took him to the office, even the sub-county director, knowing he's drunk, but to safeguard his interdiction. Bangi inamea mustuni, ni wewe unaenda mustuni. Bangi haitaki kutoka pahali kufuate, ni wewe unaitafuta. So some of these abuses that we are talking about, let us accept that they are our own making. Kindly let us reform from that, because very soon, from what we are gathering from the TSC, it is not taking it rightly. You are going to lose your job over some things that you have caused yourself. You have brought them upon yourself, and you are going to lose your job, because however much we try to protect you, and there is evidence. Nowadays, TSC just want to work with what they call evidence. If they have evidence against you, it will be very difficult to protect you and the like.
Billion. The only unfortunate thing in Naivasha is that the 54 billion was mainly spread on the leadership of the teachers. That is the head teachers, deputies, blah, 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 but did not affect the teacher only. in the class. So therefore, we have a clear roadmap. Last week we had a visit to several ministries of concern. We have visited the Ministry of Labor, we have visited the Ministry of Education, and we have already booked a visit to the President's office. We want to tell him, hey you, Bwana Ruto, the big hustler, Moi gave us money, Kibaki gave teachers money, Uhuru gave teachers money. What are you giving the teachers of Kenya? Hello? And that precedence, we shall be telling him you have to follow it so that we know and see therefore how much is the Kenya Kwanza government under William Ruto giving the teachers of Kenya following the precedents that I've talked about. It's the issue of medical cover. I realize three things are disturbing our teachers. And recently we undertook as a board to deal with them squarely. One of them was medical cover. Another one was K-Water. And another one was delocalization. I want to report that on delocalization, we have finally dealt with it. And we want to thank even that honorable member for Lurambi who moved it in Parliament. So we had a meeting with the Teacher Service Commission, and it was a joint meeting between KNUT, Kuppet, and TSC, and I was lucky to be the moderator of that meeting. And we agreed that, number one, any teacher who was delocalized or has been delocalized and wishes to come back home, let the name be sent to us and let him do the formalities of doing the online application. And we said this is a chance, hello? Deal with without looking down on K-Water, because our lady teachers are affected by this. But we reached also a compromise that yes, K-Water is like KEPSHA and like KESHA, CU is an association. We don't subject ourselves to it and we don't believe in it because it's a potential competitor. But we have no right of going to fight an association that has been created by people. Therefore, we agreed in totality that if there's any lady teacher who is affected by this thing, Rose Kiiru is here, give out the list, we get you out. Hello? You can look in my eyes. These are the things we discussed. And I want them implemented because that's what we agree. Ukweli si ukweli, Secretary General.
I know this CBC has not reached high school. It is upon government to prepare you. So high school teachers should not fear. Because I've interacted with the children who are in grade 5. And the learning there has been exciting. Parents are complaining about cheap things because they don't want to be asked that my daughter has come home or my son and is asking me the name of the grandparents, the name of the rivers or streams in the village. People are only complaining about that they are asking for cuckoo. How many cuckoos have they slaughtered and prepared? That is just barely in agriculture and home science. The aspects in mathematics, the challenges of the 21st century environment, where they are interacting with the gadgets, are not the issues there. But parents are also taking too much of their time thinking that we are hustling with life. I'm coming home at 11 and you don't even know your children. You want your children to be in school. Teachers must be properly trained to handle CBC. And just besides that, they must be properly remunerated. So in the frontiers of this, I know that in the 2021-2025 CBA, you got nothing. And the person who has suffered most are the majority of the members who are here. Those who are in C3, C4, C3, C2. Our focus is on the basic pay. And our negotiation is centered on getting between 30 to 70%. That those people who are not properly remunerated in the 2016-2021 must now be considered 70 in that continuum coming to 30. We are therefore asking the Teacher Service Commission to look for better service, an insurance company that can absorb and can accept the 15 billion, but offer the teachers the services that they desire. We are also aware that the services which are being covered now have excluded certain medical facilities. We want that issue to be resolved so that the teachers do not suffer any embarrassment when they go to medical facilities. On the issues of education reform, we are aware that the animal in the room and the elephant is education financing. Our submission to that working party is to consider, one, who pays for education in Kenya? Do we still need boarding schools which have made education very out of reach? Do we still need to categorize schools? Why must we open education to Kenyans so that people walk to schools which are near their homes? And to do this, all schools should be treated equally, and therefore where to define schools is size, so that size will determine the number of laboratories, the number of teachers, so that children or learners do not move out of their homes simply because there is perceived or there is a perception that there is a better school elsewhere. Teachers come from the same colleges, and facilities can be sourced from the same source, and that means that our teachers, our schools can be run to optimum if they are given standard facilities. Schools, they are now introducing abstract concepts which capacity is only in secondary schools. Already, there are existing facilities like infrastructure facilities like laboratories, classes, and so on. Primary schools in Kenya do not have the facilities like laboratories. This time remaining for transition, let us manage it, let us not politicize it. Making it a political debate will not grant this transition. For about 4 years, we must sacrifice as Kenyans to have transition be managed. The Teacher Service Commission and the government must employ more teachers to deal with transition. Then on the same transition, we must have the teacher preparedness. The teachers who are going to handle grade 7 currently must undergo rigorous induction on how they are going to assess and how they are going to receive relatively younger learners in secondary schools.